Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Jason Dupree, and I've got Tyler Movsession with me and we
You got
are
it,
about
Jason.
to, yeah, we're gonna do the. This is the live. I'm butchering this. This is the race coverage of the Red Deer race, the second race in the Canadian National Series, and this is pre-recorded. The race was this past weekend on Sunday, actually, and we had rabbits out there, and I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, and how we all made this happen. But now here is today. We've got the show already. We're going to show you this race, and it's going to be a good one. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jason. Thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to a quick race today.
I got to apologize. I have said Movsesian way too many times in the past, and it is Movsession, right?
Mo session, that V is silent. So for any
Oh.
of the MCs listening when they announce my age group for future podiums, definitely just take note of that. I always get it butchered whenever I do a Spartan race.
Okay,
It's all
good
right.
to
I'm
know.
used
Good
to
to
it.
know. All right, so we've got this is the second race, as we said, in the Canadian Series. The first race was at Mont Tremblant, and that was a really good race. We had Brendan Neely taking it away with the number one spot, and on the women's side, um, I'm blinking.
Yeah.
I've
This would
got
be
it
Lisa
here though.
Musacchio. Yeah,
Lisa Musacchio, actually. That's another one
Musacchio.
that looks like it should be, one way, and it's another. Actually, yeah. So I've got it here. For the men's in Mont Tremblant, it was Brennan Neely, Mikhail Durillo, Samuel Hebert, and for the women, it was Lisa Musacchio, Beatrice Moyen Silvestri, and Susan Sinitsky. And while we're there, let's show that leads us into the series points. This first race gave the series points. That is not the right. Dang it!
In
I
case
messed
you're
that up.
curious, in the U.S. series points.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna try and maybe come back to that, but I had that.
Yeah.
I've had it ready. I know I did. Okay.
Yeah, well, Jason, if you want, I'm happy to talk about it because I have it up on my screen. You got the fancy
Sure.
graphics, but I do have the info. But basically, how it goes is you get 23 points for first place, 2 points less, so 21 points for second. Again, 19 for third, and then it goes to 17 for fourth, and then it goes down by one all the way until I believe that gets us to 20th place. Would get 1 point. And then actually, all three races are mandatory in the series, so that does whittle the field down quite a bit, unfortunately. And we'll kind of make note of that later because we have a good amount of folks who were at Mont Tremblant who won't be at this race, and therefore they cannot continue on in the series for the full score. But yeah, we'll still be excited to see what we got going on because we do still have overall prize money for the win just by itself at Red Deer. Is that correct?
Correct. Um, I'm gonna save. We'll go ahead and since we know who was in the lead, the only people that raced that race were the ones that ended up on the leaderboard because it was only the first race. But it is important to say that Spartan did come out and say that it is mandatory to compete in all three races to actually be part of the series. So for all the people in these races in race two, if they did not race in Mont Tremblant, then they won't show up on the series leaderboard. They still are obviously in that race and that in Red Deer, and Red Deer has its own prize pool as well. But for the series, they won't be there. So we'll save the series leaderboards for the end, and hopefully have it ready by then. But let's talk about the course a little bit. We can go ahead and take a look at the map and see what these athletes are gonna experience here. All
Cool.
right,
And it'll
Red
it'll be
Deer.
important to know as we sorry, just it'll be important to know too as we
No, go
zoom
ahead.
out. I know last time for people who maybe have just jumped on for the first time, last time might be the first time today, that we talked about the blue course last time being the super, and now almost every Spartan venue is going to have a sprint, whether it's a series or not. But today we're talking about the sprint, so it's going to be that red loop, or it kind of looks a little purpley because it's also mixed in with the blue loop in a lot of cases as well. But so it's going to be about a 5K course there, and if Jason wants to start breaking down some of those obstacles.
That's right. Right at the beginning, they are going to be going right out the gate and going under the A-frame, but no obstacles until they get into the woods. So there's a pretty fast trail run right at the beginning, and then they get into 4-foot wall and 6-foot wall. A little bit more trail running before they get back into the festival area for the vertical cargo, monkey bars, the A-frame cargo, rolling mud, dunk wall, Z-wall, sandbag carry, spear throw, all right in a row.
Right. Yeah. I'm actually curious what the spectator is going to look like this time because looks like we get some festival area early on in the course, or I guess mid course, which is really exciting because sometimes you go in the woods and then you don't come back until the very end. So hopefully, some spectators who are out there will get to see a great race play out.
That's right. It is really cool that they have them coming back so soon and having all those obstacles right there. And then after that, they do go off into the woods and they're gone for a bit. So you got Atlas carry, barbed wire crawl, armor, inverted wall, and the bucket carry. And in this section is a descent. This is one of the few spots. It's not a very, we've got 105 meters of elevation. It's not a ton of elevation, but it is a little bit. And then from there, a little much, this is kind of the longest trek in the course that doesn't have any obstacles in it. Trail run. And then towards the end of that trail run, there is a staircase that they go up. You can see in the elevation that steep spot right there. So they're going to go through the rope climb, the slip wall, and then back into the festival area for the herd hoist, the multi-rig, and the fire jump.
And I'll be really curious to see how that descent plays out for sure. I mean, I know. I mean, I just raced Palmerton myself. If you're from the New England area, and you can lose a lot of time on a descent, especially a technical descent, if you're not doing that a lot in training or not, haven't been focusing a lot on that. So I'll be curious to see who's going to out descend some of their competition.
That's right. And so before we jump into this race, one thing I do want to say is that I was not at this race personally, and so I was in Utah for the last race in the American U.S. Series, and so it was very tricky. We coordinated with Rabbits. We had one person act as basically my counterpart to organize and get all the gimbals for the Rabbits and take care of all that stuff. And so not being there, definitely, these are people that are volunteers. It was their first time. So the biggest thing I want to say about it is they had some trouble getting started. Things got started a little late. No fault of anybody's. It's just, first time things happen. And so we actually are going to be jumping into the race about 9 minutes in at around the rolling mud and the Z-wall. So that's where we're going to be starting here. And I'll pop the weather up right after we do, but it seemed like it was a pretty good day for running, to be honest. Not too hot, maybe even a little overcast. It's kind of hard to tell by the sky in the video. But Tyler, anything you want to say before we jump in?
Yeah, ready to get started. Yeah, ready to get started and watch this race.
Oh.
But also just remember everyone at home that a lot of those Rabbits, like Jason were mentioning, a lot of these folks do volunteer to put this show on for you guys. So they do a great job for what they're able to get to us, so we can call this race. So definitely just keep that in mind for sure. We keep looking to improve every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much to those Rabbits. We wouldn't have this without them. Okay. All right, so now let's get this show rolling, and we're going to start with here and jump right in. All right.
All right, cool.
A couple of text on the screen there. That was just a couple of mistakes, so pardon that. But here at this point, we've already got Brendan Neely out in front.
Well, it looks like we're at the Z wall, and it appears as though at this point, these two gentlemen that are arriving there may not be some of our front runners. They may be more mid pack. Is that probably a good guess?
No, I think these are our front runners. I think that's
okay.
Either we've got Alfred Young in there, Matthew McLean, Mike Yorko.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. So let's see.
So
So here
here's
goes the
those couple
sandbag
of
carry.
guys.
So
Yeah, Brendan Neely's already out in front. We don't see his face for a little while because he's pretty quick, but we do get some eyes on him later.
cool. All right. And this is a. Actually, I already like this course design with the sandbag right into the spear. Um, really a good opportunity for some separation on both obstacles. Get their nice
Nice
stick from
hit.
that gentleman. And well, that's the
Into
first time
the
I've seen that.
wood.
He's what he's gonna do? Okay, yeah, he's taking the penalty.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, he's going to
He
his
actually
penalty.
asked it. He asked about it. He was like, "Does that count? He was, please."
Right. Yeah, it stuck the
I
wood
don't
in.
think
It
I've ever
didn't look
seen
like
that ever.
it
Yeah,
may have fell out, but it didn't. It was hard to tell if it did, for sure. All right, now
yeah,
we've got the
and it
women
looks
coming
like
through the Z wall.
cool. And so, would you say, Jason, that the that Susan is probably our favorite here, Susan Sinitsky, after her third place finish in Mont Tremblant?
Yeah, we're definitely looking for that, but as you can see, one of the women has already taken off. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who that is.
Yeah, and so and I know we won't have Musakio, saying that right?
Sakio.
We
Yeah.
won't Musakio. We won't have Lisa in this race. She was at Utah, actually, so she was running
I,
in that series. She's an American athlete herself.
I believe that's Catherine
And then
Sweeney in the
Were
front.
these the first few women? Okay,
okay,
good.
Catherine Sweeney in the front. Perfect. And then we'll have and then also I'm surprised there's no Beatrice Moyen Silvestri. I know I
Yep.
was
No,
pretty
no.
sure she was Canadian, but
Right.
um,
Here's our splits
I think
after
sometimes
the
whether
in. Oh, I messed.
oh go ahead.
I'm not sure. I messed that up again.
Oh
Well,
yeah, no, this is also U.S. That was also the U.S. split there.
yeah.
But
I apparently I didn't save this correctly. I thought I had it. Let's see
that's
if I
okay.
can
Well,
fix those.
yeah, and this is actually an interesting segment. You don't see this often in Spartan, is you don't often see a road run like that, but really an opportunity to open up. Some of these guys likely running in the 5 pace or even slightly faster. So something to keep in mind how difficult that is. 13 minutes into a Spartan race. Um, miss here. Let's see, so we're on obstacle 11. Right after the spear throw, they hit that road run. So this is the gentleman that hit his spear. Hopefully
This
be able to get a name for us
this
soon.
could be Mike Yorko.
Could be Mike Yorko. Okay, great. And then also just kind of keep in mind for our audience here is that for the most part I am relatively unspoiled on this race. Tried my best to stay off, knowing I was calling this race for you guys today here. So I really want to try to see it play out live, have a genuine reaction if something cool happens. So that's always my goal when I cover a race post production or post finish. He's using a nice technique here. Pretty muddy. Seems like he's getting here. So curious how
Yep,
if
we
that's
got
going to affect
the
him.
ladies coming into the spear throw.
A miss here. I'm trying to think if Susan had tattoos. Just trying to kind of looking out for her, knowing she's the
That
familiar
that was her in the
familiar name from
pink.
my last race. That was her in the pink. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, another miss. So this is
Look at
annoying
this.
penalty loop. Come
Just
on.
back and forth. It's so funny.
What the heck? You just feel like a animal, or like you're in a line, or like in Disney World or something.
Yep.
Just going back and forth. That's crazy. Oh man, so many sharp turns. This is a lot slower of a penalty loop than you would think,
Yeah,
because there's
that's
what
right.
I'm just off glance. There's 15 turns in this loop, so
Hmm.
you think you're almost there and you're not.
Yep, still going
All
on
right,
that
still
loop.
goes. Yeah, she's finally out of it. So there's Susan right there.
That's wild.
Yep. And then, so is this the descent you were talking about, Jason? Is this like a is this a road, like a little road descent, or are
It
we not
doesn't
quite
really
there
look like
yet?
it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
so. Yeah, little trail
Yeah. 'Cause-
running guys coming up to armor.
Actually, and this is actually something pretty interesting, is that armor is not usually in a sprint, at least not in the U.S. anyway. So armor is typically a beast obstacle. It's not terribly difficult. I mean it's probably easier than the Atlas carry, to be honest. But
Okay, I think I got our splits fixed. So at the Z wall, we have
okay,
Brendan Neely in front, Mike Yorko, which I believe this is who this is right here. I'm pretty sure he's in second.
I mean before he got covered in mud there, he does. I'm not familiar with Mike at all. I've heard him wipe his name once or twice maybe, but really not too familiar with him. So I'm actually gonna give a quick Instagram search and see if I see those tattoos.
Yeah, and he was
Yep.
40
Confirmed
seconds.
tattoos.
Very nice. And for the women, past the Z wall, Catherine Sweeney in front, Susan Sinitsky in second. Now we're at the bucket carry.
I mean, very much still a battle. I think one of the tough parts about Mont Tremblant is that it was such a big race, such a long race, and we had Lisa and Beatrice so far out in front that it was there's a lot of gaps in there. But this race, obviously, quite the opposite. And I mean, that's what makes a sprint race so great, is that generally speaking, it's going to be close.
That's right. Some of the like third, fourth, fifth place guys at armor.
Yep. Okay. So we believe. So it's still Mike. He's in second.
And so we got somebody on the barbed wire crawl that I'm thinking that's got to be Brendan, because he is out in front.
Well, isn't the barbed wire crawl is after? Unless there's two barbed wire crawls, right?
Oh, it was
Didn't we
right
just
before
watch
armor.
Mike do a,
Yep.
right.
You're right.
Yeah. Right. Yep. So.
Let's jump back to the front here.
Yep. So. Brendan should be should next be appearing at the rope climb, because for those of you who remember the map, we did have there's that staircase, so they're going to skip over obstacle 20 to the box. They're going to go right into the rope climb. So this here in the black is going to be Catherine Sweeney then.
Yeah.
Okay, so Catherine Sweeney is our lead woman, making her way through the barbed wire, and then so she basically has a full obstacle lead on Susan.
But they're getting into it about when she was getting out, so very close.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh.
And these two are
top there,
right next to each other.
Yep. So our second and third are, really neck and neck there, and you'll notice different strategies here. You'll notice there she goes. Yep. A lot of racers, I feel like, on a barbed wire crawl are going to hit the flat and then the mix up the crawling and the rolling, for sure. Then of course, for the most part, the female racers have to be more concerned about the hair getting snagged as well. The hair and or the sports bra for sure. So.
Oh, I didn't show the what the temperature was. That was at the start of the race. So it's probably warmed up a little bit.
If anything, so you're always more curious what the humidity is. I mean, back to I know I talked briefly about my experience at Palmerton there, but the Palmerton Super a few weeks ago had 99% humidity, and that even though it was only 60 degrees, it still felt like someone turned the oven on. So
yeah,
that's really going to be the big. But we are out. If I'm not mistaken, right? We're in Alberta, right? So we are out west. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe it tends to be a little bit less humid out west.
Kicking ass, man.
we got our rabbit there working real hard to keep up with Mike.
Yeah.
Not
only is he gimbal and see what's going on with
it. Not only is he running with the second place athlete pretty well right now, but he's also holding that, trying his best to hold that gimbal sturdy for us, which he's definitely struggling with a little bit, but he's doing a great job keeping up with him and giving us this coverage so we can know where Mike is. So that's
Nice climb.
that's much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Here's the staircase.
Yep. So
you're getting pretty close
it
to the
appears as
end
though
here.
Yep. Yeah. He'll head to rope climb, and then slip wall, and then he'll get into the festival area.
got
So
him.
at the 20-minute mark
Steph.
is pretty crazy. Oh wow! Look, this is quite the staircase. Yeah.
Right.
Around here for
This,
seconds.
you know, when I rabbit, this is what I experienced too, where on the downhills and some maybe even some flats, not so bad, but when it comes to the uphills, the pros definitely leave me easily, like not even close.
Yeah, absolutely. I only did it a couple times myself, and yeah, same sort of song and dance for sure. Yeah, not for nothing. If I was any better, I would be in the race myself. So it's usually most of the cases on these rabbits.
But they traded off, so they had another rabbit jump on. Is it Mike? Right.
Yep. Yeah, but that was quite the staircase there. That was much more than I was expecting. I didn't know we had a little stadium specialty obstacle in there. Noticing a lot of tight turn. I mean, not on that penalty loop, but also just throughout this course and that trail run. I think that's what Mike was on too. Was that pretty long trail run?
Right.
Probably looks to be pretty close to a whole kilometer.
Personally, I like racing like that. What about you?
Yeah. No, I'd say so. It gives you time to open up, catch up to somebody, or put somebody behind, put somebody in the dirt. So I also like too. That's nice. That's a nice jump he's got there.
Rabbits having to do little obstacles here.
Yeah, right. I like when venues utilize, venue structures to make them just a little extra obstacles, especially in a sprint, and there's not a lot of real estate to put obstacles in.
Mm-hmm.
So now I guess the real question is how far ahead of third is Mike at this point, because he looks he's moving pretty well, and then how far behind Brendan is he? But he did just look. I think he did just look over his shoulder, or not look over his shoulder, but check over. Yep. All right. At the barbed wire is a minute behind.
Yeah.
And then he has almost a minute on the next person. But that 3-4-5 battle, that'll be something I'll be really interested to see if we can get any cameras on that for sure. So kind of that's the story on both these races. This 3-4-5 battle on the men's and the women's side. So it seems to be the closest.
And the women are past the barbed wire as well. So let's check their splits.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit closer of a race here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So I mean, still top four within a minute. So we figure this here is third.
And our next split is going to be at the slip wall, which is pretty close towards the end.
Yeah, we just saw Mike complete the slip wall. And well, here goes. So this is Alfred, if I'm remembering correctly. Which that's also an athlete I'm quite unfamiliar with.
Check out the we got two rabbits chasing each other through, and then one in front chasing the Susan, I believe, or Catherine through the trails.
Yes,
all right, here we go.
There it is.
So at this point, Brendan has already crossed the finish line, I believe.
Oh wow! Yeah, this is a quick race.
Yeah, it really is.
25 minutes.
And that
Brennan,
clock
you're
is
gonna slow
not,
down for us.
100%. That clock is not 100% accurate, but it should be fairly close.
Nice,
Very
nice
nice,
dismount
very
there.
nice.
All right, so that was Mike's second place. Like I said, yeah, 25 and change, or maybe even 26 is.
Let's see how they're looking at the slip wall.
Okay, so there was pretty good separation there, but Mike seemed to pretty much run this race by himself in second place, more or less.
Yeah, but after that, they're not too far apart from each other. Looks like a good race at the end there. Oh, here we go.
Yep. So cool. Yeah. So this here must be Alfred.
Yeah, I believe this is third place.
Cool.
And there's fourth right behind him.
So I mean, he needs to be successful on this this obstacle here. Also, I mean, pretty smart strategy to utilize the higher step there if it's available to him, knowing that he's got company. So it's through the pipe, which is the biggest hang up for most athletes. Nice.
I'm 5'6", so I usually do. Not that I have to have it, but I usually take advantage of it. Oh, there we go.
I at first thought it was only for women, but
yeah, no. Well, it used to be in the past, but they changed that rule years ago.
Yeah, and I think you have to give priority to a woman, if I'm not mistaken. If there's another woman in your area, but
at this point, the step even on Stairway to Sparta or some of the bigger walls is, I don't know if it says it in the rule book yet or not, but it's supposed to be okay for men to use those as well.
Okay. Yeah, so pretty quick race here, pretty close race here for 3-4-5. Oh, this guy's locked off. Is gonna. Ooh, wow. That is just something. He needs to really straighten his arms here, but I mean, he's displaying incredible strength by being locked off the whole time. But just.
Well, I believe it's wet.
Oh, okay.
From the way,
it's funny.
Yeah, the way they're working that rig, I think that pipe is damp.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah, even on a day where you don't get weather conditions, you're going to get some morning dew for sure.
We got the women going up the staircase, getting close to the end.
I've noticed the pipe definitely angles more this year than it has in the past. But I mean, our men having no trouble with it.
One thing, I had seen a video of Lindsay Webster completely skip the pipe not too long ago, and I think it's because they used to hang basically there was a ring right on the edge of the pipe, but now you can see how the pipe, its straps angle outwards, and there's a ring that's further away, so you can't really do that anymore. So I think that's kind of what plays into that pipe. Oh,
right over there.
Yeah.
Right.
See if
that's what plays into that pipe angling more as they grab it.
Right. Yeah, and unless you're a top ninja warrior, I mean, I'm sure some of those guys could probably figure out a way to get around it, but probably not worth the risk, knowing you get one fall and it's a penalty loop. So,
all right, first woman at the slip wall.
And I actually really like. I feel like you don't see it very often, but a Hercules hoist right directly into a rig. I mean, you really never see that very often either. So I really like that, because your grip on grip. That's kind of what you want, especially in a sprint race, right? Where most of these elite folks are not failing anything. So, and you kind of almost, as a viewer, you kind of almost want to see failures sometimes as a way to shake things up a little bit. Makes things exciting. People might, you're kind of on the edge of your seat if someone may fail an obstacle.
Right.
Multi-rig.
So be curious how our women handle it.
I'm curious what's going on with this camera, because it shows that there's audio, but for whatever reason, it could be noise suppression, but I can't even hear footsteps or anything on that one.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of Catherine's footsteps here.
It's interesting. Yeah, this it's a nice. It
But,
seems like a nice park. Yeah.
That's what I find interesting. This says we just got like a woman going for a morning walk on the side
Right.
of the Spartan race.
Got some more guys coming through the finish.
Yeah, good amount of guys doing this penalty loop as Catherine's arriving. And that's a lot of those guys are probably looking at 10, somewhere in the 10 to 15 range replacement wise. But yeah, so it seems to be the theme there too. Is those Disney World type of zigzags for the penalty loop.
All right, so I think our cameras are off just a touch. Pretty close together, but we definitely had a little bit of a delay there from one to the other. And we do have...
So here's Catherine lowering the bag here. Really smart move with her getting to the back side of this Hercules hoist. Let's see how she handles this one here.
She's got a pretty good lead here, so even if she does fall, she would probably have plenty of time to get through the penalty.
But
it's funny we missed everybody do the. There she is. Congratulations. We missed everybody do that roll of mud. And that's why they're all wet and muddy from. There's Susan on the Herc hoist.
Good.
So, see if we get anybody else to emerge here. Susan did hit a big spear throw at Mont Tremblant to take third. So now she's kind of in the opposite situation where she's got the pressure on her to pass this obstacle in order to lock up second here. So curious to see how she'll do.
And here comes third to the Herc hoist.
Oh no! Oh wow! She does fall.
Over this way.
Oh, she's got a chance.
She's a little lost. Yep. She'll need a.
That's fourth on the Herc hoist.
Oh.
She locked it up. Here comes fourth.
Yep. Took number 2.
Slight delay again on the camera.
Where that penalty loop is, but I think she's definitely sees her in the penalty loop for sure. Tough
here we go.
lane that's swinging.
Just a bit there, Susan.
Oh my God, she's gotta go. Oh my God. Wow. Oh, she did squeeze
Back just
in.
a little bit there, Susan. Run through.
Replay.
Got to see it twice there.
Wow. Oh, and she
laying down across the line. Yeah,
wow,
that's right.
She gave it everything there. That's awesome.
Battle.
I'm sure she's disappointed to have slipped because usually once you touch that ring after the pipe, you're usually all right once you get through that pipe on a rig like that. So I'm sure she's definitely disappointed to have lost on second.
Yep, and that's the race. That was quick. Oh my goodness.
Blinking, you might have missed it.
That's right. Let's see what the splits were at the slip wall for the women. Susan was 45 seconds behind, and then another 30 seconds was Katie, and then Sylvia, so Katie ended up taking second, and Sylvia came in and almost got third, but Susan stuck with it for third.
Yep. So now that we know the results, do we want to chat at all about the the series standings? I don't know if you have that or if I have.
Let me
I have the Mont Tremblant results, so I'm sure we can figure things out.
Timer out the way. bring it back to us. I'm going to do the my fancy transition here.
All right.
All right, that was the race. Man, that was quick and fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was just seemed like it was back to back. Like they did a little bit of trail running, but man, that was ferocious.
Yeah, that's what I love about sprints. We don't see many of them, especially on the competitive side, because typically you're seeing sprints just lumped onto a trifecta weekend, so those are all open. But whenever we do get a sprint, especially one with a series race with some of our top athletes in that country or region, it's definitely a good one.
So let's do this. Let's show if I did this right this time. So this is the series race, the series before, or is this after? Yeah, this is a series race, the series from the first race. Now I may have they definitely had more people, so I had some of them cut off. But this is the top 6 from the first race. So if you want to chat for a second about this, I will update the after this race.
Yep, cool. So we obviously, despite not seeing him, we know that Brendan Neely got first place. So that means he'll get another 23 points, bringing his total up to 46. He'll, based on his ability level and his success, he's probably going to be pretty much untouchable because Mick Girillo obviously was hurt, and then he's now not eligible to get series points at this point anymore. And I believe the next person we saw in this race was Matt McLean, which I'm not sure what place he ended up finishing in on this one. I think he was in 4th at one of the splits. But even so, that means he'll receive 17 points there, so that'll bring him up to 33. So he'll still be a solid 12 points behind Brendan there. And then, to be honest, I'm really not sure who's in 3rd.
So that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Good point there. Let's show the women's first before we show the results for this race itself. All right, so here's a series board.
Okay.
Series leaderboard for after Mont Tremblant for the women before we look at the results for this race. So going into this race.
Yep. So we know we didn't have Lisa or Beatrice, right? But we did see Susan out there. She ended up taking 3rd in this race, so another 19 points for Susan. Everybody, nobody else was here in the top 7. Is that, or maybe Carolyn? Carolyn was here.
No, so was it? Sorry, her name. Oh, right. So this is actually an interesting thing. For whatever reason, blanking on her name. Hang on. Nicole Bowman. She was registered. She was supposed to be registered pro. She ran pro, but it ended up in the age group results, which is why she didn't show up here. But she is pro. So we are going to see her as the only other person other than Susan that raced both the first race and the second race.
Okay,
all right.
So we did have Nicole. We did have Nicole in the Mont Tremblant Pro race.
Correct. Yeah, I had to confirm that with the Spartan team, and they made sure and gave me all the details and everything. So results for this race. Take it away, Tyler.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Yep. So we had Brendan Neely in first, 24:01. Mike Yurko in second, 25:48. Alfred Young in third, 27. The aforementioned Matthew Klein in 4th. Then we had Jordan 2X Kahoko, Cody Futon, Connor Bell, who is also in the Mont Tremblant race, William Grant, Justin Lalonde, and Scott Shields.
All right. And for the women.
Cool. All right, and here are the women. Catherine Sweeney at 32:36. Katie Simonson, who overtook second on the multi-rig, 33:45. Susan Sinitsky, 34:10, who edged out a very, very close battle with Sylvia Gackle-Smith in 34:12. The aforementioned Nicole Bowman was a good bit back there in 38:09.
Pardon my extra data there. Thought I had that fixed, but it ends up filling in just some odd stuff. Okay, now see if this filled in correctly.
Cool. All right.
Again,
pretty
extra
easy
data, but yeah.
men's pro series leaderboard, right? Yep. So I did mention Brendan Neely took 2 wins, so 46 points there. The max score of 23 per race. Matthew McLean also mentioned he had 33 points. So it gets a little bit interesting with Connor Bell and William Grant. Connor Bell is only 5 points behind. So if he can get in one of those top 3 spots where the differential is 2 points per spot in Kelowna, that'll be very helpful for him. And then with William Grant as well, only being 5 points behind Connor out of a podium spot. But as we mentioned before, definitely disappointing that Spartan kind of made these decisions to include every single race because, of course, going into Kelowna will only have 4 men eligible for that prize money, and that's even if they all race in Kelowna.
And we saw that in Utah as well. The series becomes a little less exciting, but the race itself will still be exciting. Utah is fantastic. We won't say anything about it because we're hoping to show Utah on come Monday. But so here's the women.
Yep. All right, and so a 2-horse race for the women. Susan Sinitsky in first with 38 points, and Nicole Bowman in second with 32 points. So again, definitely still a possibility for Nicole to overtake Susan. Like I said, if she does manage to get a podium spot in Kelowna, that could be a possibility. But Susan has outdone her in the first 2 races of the season.
Right, that is something important to note, is that they don't automatically get 23 and 21 points at that race. Instead, it's all about where they place in that race. So if they go and they finish or they DNF, they get 0 points. They're still DNF will still get them in the series, but they will have gained 0 more points.
Okay, that's absolutely, that's interesting. Yeah, very interesting to know. And then they still both show up also. So. You never know what can happen there, but we'll
I would feel pretty confident that they'll both show up. I would imagine.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Especially they're from this area, because I believe Kelowna is also on the western side of Canada. I think that's BC, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm definitely looking forward to that race for sure. That's a month from today, I believe, August 24th, and that's gonna be a really good one. We had the North American Championship, I believe, 2 years ago over there, and it was a beautiful course. So definitely really excited to see what they're going to do with that terrain once again.
Yeah, exciting course out there. A couple years ago, I actually did the live coverage, or maybe that was, whenever that was, I did the live coverage from it. So I was behind a computer the whole time. But this time, since we're doing these kind of post-live shows, I will be rabbiting, and I'll get to experience the course a good bit myself. So we did do, like I said, we recorded at Utah as well. We've had some trouble with that footage, if you saw our post on Instagram, but we've got a show ready for you. Now it's all about just coordinating the commentators and myself. I'm actually heading out tonight to go to the UK for Europe's Toughest Mudder. And so that's obviously going to take up a lot of time, but we're going to try and get that show out on Monday while I'm still there. So hopefully, Monday afternoon or evening U.S. time.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that one as always, and I'll keep on plugging away, Jason. You're doing great work.
Thanks, man. Yeah, keep an eye on our Instagram, because we'll post whenever we get a hard, steadfast time for that show. And coming up, after this weekend, the 3rd race in the Mexican Series is coming up as well. So we'll have another show for that one. Just a quick reminder, if you're not following us on all the things, go like us on, follow us on YouTube so that you can get reminders of whenever we go live. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/theOCR and subscribe for as little as $5 a month. That goes a long way. All that money goes into these streams, the travel it takes to get to these events, all the time and effort, the equipment and software and everything else is where all that money goes. So if you're supporting us, then you're helping make this happen. Tyler, anything else you want to say before we call it out?
Nope, don't think so. Take it away.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching us. Thank you so much from myself, from Spartan, from Tyler Mo Session.
Yep, you got it.
We'll see you guys next time.